Motion in your step.
Motivation in your heart.
Hello, and welcome to today's Motion and Motivation podcast.
We've put together a study guide for everyone. If you need it, you can grab it from the video description.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Always great to be back.
Today we're cracking open Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind.
Oh, a classic.
It really is, and you know me, I love to dig into these thought-provoking ideas. So we're going to be exploring just how much power our subconscious mind actually has over our lives.
And how to tap into that power.
Exactly. How can we actually use it to make real changes?
Well, Murphy's big idea is that your subconscious mind, it doesn't really distinguish between what's real and what you just imagine.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Basically, if you constantly feed it, your subconscious, with these positive images and thoughts, it will manifest them in your life.
So it's like our thoughts, they actually have like a tangible power.
They really do, to shape our reality.
That's incredible.
Murphy actually uses these analogies from science to kind of break down how this works. He compares it to like the laws of physics and chemistry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, just like if you combine, say, hydrogen and oxygen, you always get water.
Right.
It's the same with the subconscious mind. If you impress something on it consistently, it will materialize in your reality.
So it's like not just some mystical thing, there are actual principles at play.
Exactly. A formula, a scientific formula.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But how does it work in, our everyday lives?
Well, one of the main ways that our subconscious gets influenced is through suggestion.
Okay.
Murphy talks about two types of suggestion. Autosuggestion, which is what we tell ourselves.
Right.
And then he calls it heterosuggestion, which comes from outside sources.
Okay, so like other people.
The media, all of that, even just cultural beliefs.
Interesting.
And he has this great example in the book.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
He talks about a ship, right?
Okay.
And there's one passenger who's really nervous.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
And another passenger tells him, "Oh, you look seasick."
Oh no.
Because this person is already kind of susceptible to suggestions, they actually become seasick.
Oh wow.
But on that same ship, there's this sailor
Okay.
who's been at sea for years and years, and they're super confident they won't get seasick.
Right.
They hear that same suggestion has zero effect on them.
So it's not just about someone like planting the thought, it's also about our own choice to accept or reject it.
And that's exactly right.
That's powerful.
Your conscious mind is like this gatekeeper,
Okay.
filtering all these suggestions that are trying to get to your subconscious.
I like that, the gatekeeper.
And that's empowering because it means you have the power to choose.
Right, to choose which thoughts take root.
Exactly. But Murphy doesn't stop there.
Oh, I bet he doesn't.
He brings in these fascinating real-world examples to show this power of the subconscious.
Yeah, like what?
Like, have you heard of Dr. James Esdale?
I don't think so.
He was a surgeon in India in the 19th century.
Oh, wow.
And get this, he performed tons of major surgeries using only suggestion as anesthesia.
What?
No ether, no painkillers, just the power of the patient's mind to control pain.
That sounds unreal.
I know. And it's documented. There's historical proof.
So wild.
It really shows you what we're capable of.
And what about that story of the daughter whose arthritis vanished when her father was in an accident?
Yeah, that one's a little intense, but it shows that profound link between the mind and the body and how strong belief can be.
Right, but it's like, okay, a bit extreme.
It is. It emphasizes that our subconscious doesn't really differentiate between what we want and what we fear.
So we got to be mindful of what we're feeding it.
Exactly.
It's like that other story of the man who was convinced he'd die at the new moon. And because he believed it so strongly, he did.
Powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even when the belief is based on superstition.
It really makes you think about the power of our beliefs.
Especially those tied to strong emotions.
So if our beliefs are this potent, how do we intentionally use them for positive change? Like, is there a method to this?
Well, Murphy outlines a bunch of techniques for harnessing the subconscious mind. I think that's what we're all here for, right?
Right, to unlock this power within ourselves.
And one of the most popular ones he talks about is using affirmations. Basically, it's choosing positive statements that reflect what you want and repeating them regularly to impress those outcomes on your subconscious.
Like that example he gives about overcoming a bad temper.
Exactly.
By affirming thoughts of calmness and good humor, it's about replacing those negative thought patterns.
Yes, that's it. And another powerful technique is what he calls mental movies.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
It's where you create these vivid mental pictures of your desired outcome as if it's already happening.
Oh, I do this.
You do.
Like visualizing myself achieving a goal.
And it's not just seeing it, it's feeling it,
Yes.
making it real.
That feeling, that conviction, that's what makes it real to your subconscious.
And he talks about prayer and faith too, right?
Yeah, but not necessarily in the traditional sense. For him, prayer's like communicating your deepest desires to your subconscious, and faith is the unwavering belief those desires will be fulfilled. So it's like acting as if what you're praying for is already yours.
Exactly.
And you know what I find interesting? He also talks about, like, sleeping on it.
Oh, yeah, turning over your problems to your subconscious before you go to sleep.
Yes, like letting it work on things while you rest.
He even talks about how the structure of the benzene ring was discovered by a chemist in a dream.
Wow.
And the inspiration for insulin came to a physician in his sleep.
That's wild. Our subconscious is working even when we're not.
Exactly. Trust that inner world. And speaking of trusting, he also emphasizes the importance of intuition.
Those gut feelings.
Exactly. Sometimes those hunches are giving us valuable guidance.
Even when we can't explain it logically.
He tells a story about this woman who rejected a job offer purely on a gut feeling.
Oh, no.
And it turns out the company went bankrupt.
Oh.
Those subtle whispers from our subconscious.
We gotta listen to them.
We do. So we have this incredible toolbox of techniques to tap into the power of our subconscious.
But what about our daily habits? Can we use it to break bad habits?
Absolutely. Murphy says habits are basically thoughts and behaviors that are ingrained in our subconscious through repetition.
So how do we break free?
Well, we can use that same power of repetition.
Okay, I'm telling.
Consciously replacing negative thoughts and actions with positive ones until the new ones take hold.
Like retraining our minds.
Yes, exactly. He has a story about a businessman who overcame what he called a jinx.
A jinx.
Just by letting go of resentment.
Wow.
And then there's the alcoholic who used affirmations to break free from addiction.
That's amazing. We're not slaves to our habits.
That's right. We have the power to change, to rewrite the script.
This subconscious power, it seems to play a role in everything. Our success, our happiness.
It does. And Murphy goes deeper. He says that negative emotions like anger and resentment, even fear, are all rooted in our subconscious. He stresses forgiveness as a way to free yourself.
Forgiveness. But not in the traditional sense, right?
More about freeing yourself from those thoughts and emotions that are holding you back.
Okay, I see. It's more about letting go of the baggage.
It is. And it's about forgiving yourself, too, not just others.
Right, for past mistakes. To make space for healing.
Yes. And he also talks about choosing to see the good in others.
Instead of focusing on the negative.
Right. This can really improve your relationships and your well-being. He gives practical tips for emotional maturity, like not taking criticism personally, recognizing the inherent worth of everyone.
That's hard sometimes.
I know. But he gives this example of a woman who stopped resenting her coworker.
Just like that.
And a salesman who improved his relationship with his boss just by changing his thoughts about him.
Wow, the power of our thoughts.
It is. We have more control than we think.
And speaking of control, I want to touch on something that a lot of people struggle with.
What's that?
Aging. Ah, yes. Murphy has a very unique perspective on that.
Oh, I bet he does.
He basically debunks the myth that the mind and spirit grow old with the body.
He says age is a number and life is constantly renewing itself.
What a great way to look at it.
He wants us to embrace aging as a time for growth and contribution. He gives examples of famous people who achieved incredible things in their later years.
Like who?
Cato, who learned Greek at 80.
80.
Schumann Heink, who was a grandmother at the peak of her singing career. And Michelangelo, who painted masterpieces into his 80s.
Wow. So inspiring.
It's never too late.
It sounds like Murphy's message is that we have so much more control over our lives than we think.
Absolutely. He's challenging us to be conscious creators and understand that the subconscious isn't just passively receiving suggestions. It's a powerful force we can work with.
To shape our destinies.
It's like we can cultivate our minds, just like a garden.
I love that analogy. So we want to grow abundance and happiness, got to plant the right seeds.
Exactly. And that's where understanding this power of the subconscious comes in.
It makes me think of that story Murphy tells about the prisoner who escapes.
Oh, yeah, the one who was forgotten.
Yes. He literally willed himself out of existence in the minds of the guards, just by believing he was free.
Such a powerful example of focused intention. And speaking of focus, A lot of people are interested in achieving financial success.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Money's always on our minds.
So does Murphy have any insights on that? Can we use the subconscious to attract wealth?
That's the million-dollar question.
Ugh.
Or maybe the billion-dollar question.
He doesn't give any quick fix schemes or anything, but he does talk about some really powerful principles that can change our relationship with money, like aligning our thoughts with abundance, not scarcity.
So moving away from that feeling of lack.
Exactly. That shift in mindset can have a huge impact on our financial reality.
Okay, so how do we do that?
He talks about setting clear financial goals, visualizing them as if you've already achieved them, and cultivating this deep inner knowing that abundance is possible.
Like believing that it's our birthright.
Exactly. And he tells this story about a young boy in Australia who wanted to be a doctor,
Oh, I think I've heard this one.
but he had no money for medical school. So he visualizes holding his diploma every night before he falls asleep. And through a series of unexpected events, he actually manifests his dream.
That's amazing. Proof that our thoughts can really shape our reality.
It is. But it's not just about focusing on our own goals. Murphy also talks about envy, that we shouldn't get caught in the trap of envying other people's success.
Especially when it comes to money. It's easy to compare ourselves.
Instead of feeling threatened by others' good fortune, he says we should actually rejoice in it.
Okay, so be happy for them.
Yes, because their success doesn't diminish our own potential.
In fact, it kind of proves that it's possible.
Exactly. Abundance is available to everyone. And while we're working toward our goals, he also emphasizes gratitude, appreciating what we already have.
Being thankful, it's so important.
It creates a positive energy that attracts even more abundance.
So we talked about money. What about love? Can we manifest love with our subconscious mind?
Absolutely. And Murphy suggests a similar approach. It starts with getting clear about what you truly desire in a partner.
What are we looking for?
Not superficial stuff, but qualities.
Kindness, sense of humor, all that.
Yes. And once you know what you want, it's about feeling those emotions of love and connection even before you've met the person.
So acting as if you're already in love.
It's like sending a signal out to the universe that you're ready for love. But it's also important to let go of any limiting beliefs about love.
Like I'm not good enough or I'll never find anyone.
Those thoughts can really hold us back.
I know from experience.
He tells this great story about a woman who kept attracting the wrong kind of guys.
Oh, no.
But she changed her pattern. She started affirming the qualities she wanted in a partner. And she ended up meeting someone amazing, someone who truly embodied those qualities.
So she rewrote her love story.
She did. And it all comes back to that garden analogy, right? Weeding out the negative beliefs, planting new seeds for loving relationships. And speaking of planting seeds,
Keep going.
one of the most important seeds is self-love.
Oh, yes. Self-love is crucial.
We attract the love that we believe we deserve. So if we don't love ourselves...
It's hard to attract someone who will love us.
Exactly. And forgiveness is also important in relationships.
Forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves.
Yes. Letting go of the past, seeing each other through a lens of compassion.
So important for healing.
He even suggests using those mental movies to visualize happy relationships.
So creating that blueprint for the love you want.
And remember, the subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined. So when we vividly experience something in our minds, it can impact our reality.
So powerful. Okay, let's talk about something else. Bad habits. Addictions.
Oh, a tough one. But Murphy says habits are just thought and behavior patterns ingrained in our subconscious.
We've programmed ourselves.
Right. But he offers a 3-step process to break free.
Tell me more.
The first step is stillness, quieting the mind.
Meditation.
It can be. Creating that inner peace. Then you use affirmations to impress the desired change on your subconscious.
Repeating positive statements.
Yes. And the third step is letting go, trusting your subconscious to do the work.
Surrender control.
Exactly. And he talks about people who overcame alcoholism using this.
Wow, so it really works. We're not powerless over our habits.
Not at all. We have the power to choose freedom, to create new, healthier patterns. But he also emphasizes the importance of understanding why we have those bad habits in the first place.
So it's not just about changing the behavior. It's about the root cause.
He says a lot of addictions come from feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, lack of fulfillment.
We're trying to fill a void.
Exactly. So he encourages us to find our passions, our purpose, to live a life that feels aligned.
It makes sense. If we're fulfilled, we're less likely to turn to unhealthy things.
And this brings us to another big topic, fear and anxiety. How can we overcome those?
Yeah, they hold us back from so much.
Well, Murphy's got some techniques for transforming those feelings into courage and confidence. He says we have to understand how fear works in our minds.
Becoming aware of it.
Right. He explains that fear is often based on imagined threats, worst-case scenarios that rarely happen.
We let our imagination run wild.
We do. He says we should challenge those fears, question those negative thoughts, and replace them with positive affirmations and empowering beliefs.
So, taking control of our thoughts.
And he talks about using mental movies to rehearse success, visualizing yourself overcoming obstacles.
Like a mental training ground.
He gives this example of an executive who was terrified of elevators.
Oh, no.
But he overcomes his fear by repeatedly blessing the elevator and visualizing himself riding it calmly and peacefully.
The power of visualization.
It's amazing. He also talks about faith and trust, surrendering those fears to a higher power.
Letting go of the need to control.
Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to talk about death. It's something that often brings up a lot of fear.
It's a difficult topic for sure.
But Murphy offers a different perspective. He sees it as a transition, not an ending. He challenges the idea that death is something to be feared.
Okay.
He emphasizes the eternal nature of the soul, suggesting that we continue on beyond the physical body. He even quotes the Bible, "And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God."
So our true life isn't limited to the physical realm.
And he encourages us to develop our spiritual awareness, connect with that divine presence within.
Focus on living a meaningful life.
And that shifts our focus from fearing death to actually embracing life. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected, that even death is just another part of this grand journey.
It's a beautiful way to look at it. So we've talked about attracting wealth, finding love, overcoming fear, even facing death with a new perspective. It all seems to tie back to the power of our subconscious mind.
It does. Murphy's message is that we're not victims of circumstance, we're powerful creators. We can use this power to shape our reality.
It's about taking control and realizing we have the ability to manifest our dreams and overcome challenges.
He reminds us that true happiness comes from within, aligning our thoughts and actions with the divine principles of the universe.
It's like we have this inner compass, always guiding us towards our best selves, but sometimes we forget to listen.
We do. Murphy urges us to trust that intuition. It's the direct connection to our subconscious wisdom.
And he reminds us that we're not alone. There's a higher power, a universal intelligence always there to support us.
We can tap into that through prayer, meditation, or even just aligning our thoughts with love and abundance.
It's about letting go of fear and embracing those infinite possibilities that exist within us.
That's the real magic, isn't it?
It really is. So what's the big takeaway for our listeners? What can they do with this knowledge?
It's simple. You have the power to shape your own reality. You're not a victim of circumstance. You are a conscious creator.
Capable of manifesting your dreams.
What do you want to create in your life? Start by planting that seed in your subconscious mind.
And watch it grow. Thank you so much for this amazing deep dive. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring that incredible power within you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss any of our updates. Also, if you think this video could help others, please share it with them. Thanks for watching and for your support.